What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about a very not fun video, I suppose, to talk about. It's relative to scams, okay? And this video is inspired by Dylan, who was on the recent live stream that I just made like about an hour ago. Shout out to Dylan. He asked me a question about a coin that he invested in. It was a pre-sale token, and it was a scam. Unfortunately, he did get scammed. Now, fortunately for Dylan, he did not put in a lot of money. It was just, it was money that necessarily doesn't matter, but it sucks. It doesn't matter if it's $10. It doesn't matter if it's hundreds of dollars or anything in between. Even if it's $1, man, it's the scammers don't deserve any of your money. You're the one that deserves it. It sucks. So the purpose of this video is to try and address how to avoid scams and what to look for, where scams are the most rampant. So I want to start with that first and foremost. So first, scams, from what I've noticed these days, are the most rampant in ICOs, in pre-sales. That's what they're pre-sales. 95% of the time are scams, right? Just assume if you're looking into a coin, and they're so appealing. The appeal to a pre-sale is you're getting into a coin before it's even made public. Dude, you invest in a pre-sale, you're basically going to make money. As long as they actually launch and they're a legit project, you're basically going to make money. You just have to sell once they list. That's just the trick. And that's how they get people. Is there's this appeal to money. But the thing is with pre-sales, back in the day, like 2017 to 2018, pre-sales, ICOs, they were more necessary. These days, we don't even need pre-sales, right? Meme coins can just launch at less than $1 million market cap, have a fair launch, and not even meme coins, just coins that want to launch in a decentralized manner. They can launch and get a what's the word I'm looking for? Just like a community buildup, like a natural kind of acquisition of the coins, of the supply. There's a term for it, and I can't think of it right now, but it's just like a natural acquisition. That can happen, and you don't need ICOs to do that. You don't need pre-sales. So all I'm trying to say by saying that is, as enticing and appealing as a pre-sale token might be, there's really no need for that. There are plenty of tokens that are $1 million in market cap valuation that exist, or are less than $1 million in market cap valuation that exist, that have communities, that have people that are real coins, right? That you can actually buy. I was going to say physically buy, digitally buy, but in some sense it is physical. You're using your physical whatevers, but yeah, I think that the best way to avoid pre-sale scams is to just not invest in pre-sales. There's no need for it. There's no need for pre-sales, and there's an appeal to it, but I think just a good rule of thumb is to stay away from pre-sales. I myself have been scammed in a pre-sale, but I didn't lose money. I made a video on it. I made a video on it about a year and a half ago. I forget what the token was called, but I did like a quick little skim, did some research. They looked like they were partnered with some legitimate companies. The website was impressive. I liked the mission statement, all of it. Like, it sucks it's a scam because it actually looked like a good project, to be completely fair, but I didn't look into it more than what I saw on the website, and that was my fault. That was my fault. And the person that requested it, they wrote a really in-depth request asking about it. It seemed genuine. Maybe they were a genuine person. Maybe they were a scammer, and they got me. I don't know. But I wasn't aware. I thought it was legit as well, and I don't normally talk about pre-sales. And in that video, I was like, I don't normally talk about pre-sales, but we're going to give it a go here. That was the last time I ever made a pre-sale video. I deleted that video the next day, not because I'm ashamed, not because I don't want people to be aware of my mistakes. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I let people, if I make a mistake, I'm not going to run from it. I'm okay with that. I deleted that video because I didn't want other people to watch it and think that I'm promoting a coin like this. Not promoting. I didn't want people to think I'm promoting a scam. Of course, I don't want people thinking that. I didn't want people thinking that this scam token was legit. I don't want people watching it and thinking like, oh, C-Zar says it's okay, or it looks interesting. Oh, I'm going to put my money in there. So I deleted it and then immediately made a video saying I was wrong and I'm sorry, and that sucks. Like, I had no idea. I was bamboozled, and I will just never make videos on pre-sales again, right? So if I, as a YouTube content creator, refuse to make pre-sale videos, any kind of review, you as an investor, you shouldn't. You should stay away from them. They're enticing. Stay the hell away from them, you guys. And then Dylan asked a very, I think, wise question, a very good question, which is how to identify scams, and to which I answered basically the same way I just answered now, which is I don't know. I don't know how to identify scams. Most of them are obvious. Most of them it's fairly obvious, but the ones that get you, they're not so obvious sometimes, are they? And sometimes they are obvious. Sometimes you just feel dumb after it happens. I don't know that personally. I've never been scammed. Hopefully I don't. It doesn't happen. That was the closest I got scammed, was that one video I made. But the reason why I don't is because I'm not trusting with my money. I'm very skeptical, right? And I have to do research. Any coin that I invest in, I have to read the white paper. I have to know the tokenomics. I have to I have to know as much as I can about it. Even if it's outside of my realm of understanding, I have to read the whole white paper before I invest in something. That's just how I am. That's how I've always been, because that's what was instilled in me whenever I was learning. And that's what I'd like to instill in anybody who's trying to invest and trying to learn too. It's a pain in the ass. It's boring at times. It's tedious at times. But it's worth it. And you'll avoid scams that way. It's not so much on how to identify a scam, it's more on how to identify a legit project in that kind of perspective, right? Because if you can't find the white paper, if you can't find the tokenomics, well, then maybe it's not worth investing in, right? Or you should at least know what you're investing in. It doesn't mean it's a scam if it doesn't have a white paper or tokenomics. But for me personally, I don't have an interest in investing in anything that doesn't have a white paper or tokenomics, unless it's like a meme coin, right? Unless it's a meme coin, then you don't really need any of that, I suppose, right? Another way to identify scams is obvious, very obvious, and a lot of you probably are already well aware of this. But if you see a slew of comments on YouTube talking about a random token that you've never heard of before, it's a scam. It's a scam. No project promotes that way. Sure, people are excited about tokens and they'll be like, go Chainlink, go Dogecoin, I love Pepe. They'll say that, but it's not 50 comments or even like 5 comments in a row saying the same thing. It's not a comment with 100 likes on it and then 80 replies, right? Those are scams. That's how you know those are scams. And then outside of that, I think it just, you could look up, somebody said it and I'd give you a shout out. I just forget who it was that said it, but you could look up the contract address on CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, EtherScan, SolScan, whatever. Looking up the contract address, I think, is definitely a good way to tell if it's a scam or not. And then beyond all that too, here's I think the really important thing, that regardless of if you know how to identify a scam or not, this will save you a lot of money, even with things that are not scams. This is not financial advice, but I think this is important, is that the more potential something has, the less money you should put into it, right? If something has the potential to 1000x and something only has the potential to 10x, well, the 1000x potential also is probably a lot riskier. It probably also has a lot more potential to the downside than the 10x one does. So you'd put most of your capital in the 10x, even though it grows less, and this is all hypothetical, theoretical, who knows what's going to grow where, but you'd put your money in the 10xable coin because that coin, if that's your expectations of it, likely the lower reward also comes with a lot lower levels of risk, right? It's very, very rare that you get a coin or a project or an asset that is higher reward and lower risk. You don't really see that. Bitcoin's one of those. It's like one of the lowest risk assets on the planet, and it's one of the higher rewards. Sometimes it does happen, but essentially, if you are branching out in this space of potential scams or not, and you're only putting little bits of money, you're doing a pre-sale coin, you should only put like $100 in it or $200 in it, right? You shouldn't put money that's your life savings in something like that. That won't prevent you from being scammed, but that'll at least save you from getting screwed and boned. And Dylan had that practiced, at least, right? He wasn't putting his life savings in it, which, good job. And that's just for anything too, right? Whether it's a pre-sale, whether it's a meme coin, whether it's a brand new coin that got listed, you should the more potential you see in something, the less enticing it should be for you to put a substantial amount of your portfolio. And that's, again, this part isn't so much on how to identify a scam, it's more how to avoid getting screwed. Whether it's a scam or not, that's how you avoid getting screwed, is the higher dollar signs that you see in your head, the lower dollar signs you should put in, because emotion can trick you, right? You should put your money in things that you're certain of, and then the things that you're hopeful for that can do 100x or 1000x or whatever, you put a little bit of money in there, because a little bit of money can turn into a lot of money. Why? If it's going to turn into a lot of money, Why do you need to put a lot of money into it? Because that little bit of money could also go to zero. It just mitigates the risk. I hope that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense by that. But that's just a good way to kind of mitigate, even in a shitty situation, the damages that can happen. Because even legit projects, right? I've never been scammed, but I've invested in plenty of projects that have gone to zero, that have done nothing. Bluezell this cycle was thankfully the only one so far. Actually, no, GTC also. Bluezell and GTC and Rad, I think. Those were, yeah, Rad. I used to talk about Rad. Rad, GTC, and Bluezell. 3 coins that I used to talk about like a year ago. And Bluezell, most recently, I've talked about, and then it got delisted off of Binance. You know, that even coins that are legitimate that just fail, they just fail. You put a little bit of money in there. That way, if they fail, even though they had high potential, they also have high risk. That way it mitigates the risk. I hope that all makes sense, man. I feel like I'm just rambling at this point. I'm being dad. It's like stuff that you already know, stuff that you've already heard, right? I don't need to sit here and wipe your ass. You know, you're all big boys, you're all big girls. I just wanted more to make this video to refresh and keep aware that scammers are rampant in this space. And the more security protocols, the more security factor authorizations you put into your exchanges, the better. It should be a pain in the ass for you to sign in. That way you know it's a pain in the ass for them to sign in, right? It's a pain in the ass for you to sign in and you have all your information. What about the scammers that are trying to sign in that they have maybe half your information, they're going to give it a shot? Make it a pain in the ass, man. Make it a pain in the ass for you, so it's a pain in the ass for them. Anyways, guys, that's all I got for you. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Beware of scams and try to stick, not financial advice, but try to stick to the coins that you trust more or that you're aware of more, that you believe in more and see longevity in, right? For your more significant holdings, right? Nothing wrong with branching out and trying things with a little bit here and there, right? But again, not financial advice, but I think I've made the point, man. So I'm going to end the video. Bye-bye.